Hello, this is Taha.
This is Anaina.
This is Movie Masala.
And we're here to yap at you about films we've watched recently.
And today we're doing
The End of Oak Street.
Directed by David Robert Mitchell.
Oh my God!
I feel this isn't the type of movie that both of us would watch. You know what I mean? This is the type of movie I would watch, and you would watch something that was more worth your time.
Yes. However, I was like, you know what? We haven't watched the same movie in a while. Let's do it. Why not? And I did go in knowing it was a dinosaur movie, but what drew me in was Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, fair enough. Also, to connect this, it's scored by Michael Giacchino, who also
did Spider-Man.
Yes, which also we watched together pretty recently.
Yes. But I mean, like, I was like, something not, like something both of us weren't going to watch in the first place.
Yeah. Something that this wasn't really a film that I was like, oh, this is something I need to watch.
Exactly.
It was like, okay, J.J. Abrams is producing this. Sure. Does that mean anything? Is it going to be typical J.J. Abrams fare where the premise is interesting, but the execution feels lacking?
And the answer is
yes. Yeah, it does. It is. So I'm just going to start off with like the story premise of this, which is this family, the Platts, right? Who live in this 80s like suburbia place. It literally opens on like a shot of like a nuclear family kind of whole deal. Whole
street party. Everyone's happy. Everyone's playing games. I think it's somewhere in like the US. I think I saw like a Michigan sign. It's a suburb. So, it's very white, very, clean, very, everyone's happy here kind of a way.
Exactly. It's also like, again, mimicking that 80s Spielberg suburbia kind of vibe. And it mirrors that in other ways because after that, you have like this sci-fi twist and the whole neighborhood's transported into prehistoric times. And they're dinosaurs and they have to survive and find a way to get back. That's kind of basically it. That's the main crux of this premise. If you've watched the trailers, you know what this is about. I didn't spoil a single thing, which I think is the sad part. Like this film, you could at least have had a really enjoyable first 40 minutes if you genuinely have never watched the trailers for this film. Or also didn't hear us talk about
it. They build the threat quite well, I will say. Like this constant looming presence of like, something is wrong, but you don't know what it is. It's kind of conveyed pretty decently. And, it builds that kind of suspense. So yeah, you're right. If I didn't know this was a dinosaur movie, I would have been like, oh, what's going to happen? Like been genuinely like hooked to my seat or something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's what it's about. But what it's really about, kind of.
Of course.
Is, like I said, opens on that shot of the nuclear family. And I think from that, I was like, it opens on a shot of a nuclear family. And knowing what kind of the premise is about they transported back in time, it's about like the nuclear family left in the past and like kind of like how it doesn't exist anymore in the same way. This like how middle America, that suburbia, that nuclear family, all of those things are left in the past, right? It literally has a dad who's doing delivery driving and they own a freaking house in the suburbs. And I'm like, not in today's economy.
They have a car, they have a big house, 2 kids. And like, there is like a off-throw dialogue of like, oh, one of the older girl cannot afford like Cornell or something. And then I look around the house and I'm like, really? You can't afford Cornell?
Yeah,
but that's like our own,
you could afford payments on that house.
Exactly. It's like your own like understanding of recent like economics and etc. So you kind of look at a house that size and you go, girly pop, you can afford Cornell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They also have what I like to call a nuclear family plus, which is 2 parents, a boy and a girl, and a dog.
Exactly. And the dog is very, very important.
The dog is very important.
Yes. Yeah, you open with this nuclear family. They're all happy. They're doing like a sack race. The kid wants to bring a dog out, brings a dog out, etc., etc. And then like not even 5 minutes in, the mom and dad fight.
Yeah.
And like the fight goes from like 0 to nothing immediately. And I'm like, oh, so we're in it.
It escalates and then it de-escalates.
Exactly. And this like constant escalation and de-escalation kind of like the first escalation and de-escalation just kind of like put me off, writing-wise, plot-wise, because I was like, oh, okay, 5 minutes in, we have a primary conflict. Like, obviously, this isn't the primary conflict, but it is kind of a primary conflict because it, like you said, it is about the nuclear family and the fracturing of the nuclear family because of certain things.
Yeah.
So it's like to introduce that so quickly was kind of jarring to me, I guess, in a way. And I think maybe they were trying to be like realistic with like how quickly things can change or whatever. I don't know. It just felt badly paced and written.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's continuously this feeling of like you're meant to infer more than there is there, or like the stakes are being presented in a way that you can't see on screen, you can't understand, right?
But they
It's like
are
you're
on
telling
screen.
me all of this, but I can't see it. You're kind of telling me like this is how I should feel.
Yeah, they're trying to show, not tell, but they're really just telling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also like you have those inbuilt like things of like a man struggling with finances versus the woman who kind of wants to leave, could be the breadwinner of the house and everything. And it's also like, okay, so you're also adding complexity to that with again this breaking of suburbia with like a more like, I don't know, maybe like feminist or like more female empowered character, at least a female character who has more agency within the like yeah and like is that disrupting the nuclear family and all of those things, right? So again, this is one of those things where you'll be like, okay, there's something there. You are putting in something. You're building up something which I'm interested in. You could talk about this. But then you don't really fixate on it in any meaningful way, or like it doesn't feel as weaved through in that way either.
Or provide any satisfactory kind of resolution to those plot points.
Yeah.
Might I know?
Exactly.
So like, since we're already on the plot, like kind of skipping forward.
Yeah.
And I guess spoilers at this point. This moment where like throughout the film, they're like slowly, Denise, who's the mom, Anne Hathaway's character, slowly starts like seeing her husband, Greg, who's played by Ewan McGregor, kind of like in a different light to the light, to her life where she was frustrated by his lying and his drinking, etc. And she starts seeing him again as like actually loving of her or actually protective of her and his family and actually caring for his family. And then she immediately goes back to like all her problems disappear in that moment.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm not saying that Greg, the character, was like a shitwipe because he obviously like, we can see that he's not, but that doesn't mean problems disappear, right?
Yeah, it doesn't give you basically like oftentimes in those situations, you'll fixate on one defining aspect of why this is not working. And then through that sci-fi premise or whatever story, you'll see how they're them resolving it through that means. You don't need to actually say that it's been resolved, but you can clearly feel it. This again just doesn't feel like you fixated on one specific thing that needed to be resolved, and B, the way what was resolved didn't feel like that was the problem that needed to be resolved. Right?
Exactly.
There was never an issue that Greg like couldn't defend his family or wasn't trying to protect his family, or like that Denise didn't like care for her children in that way. But those are the things that are trying to be resolved.
Exactly. And then again, spoiler, having Greg be chomped off by the T-Rex, I was like, yeah, someone needed to die. I was waiting for someone to die.
Someone needed to.
Yeah, and then when I was like, not Anne Hathaway. No, not Anne Hathaway though. She's too hot wielding that shotgun. And then Ewan McGregor gets chomped in half. And I'm like, oh, so now they don't have to solve the dad problem anymore. He's gone.
I'm also like kind of like a very unempathetic response. It's like, he's gone. They don't have to worry about him anymore.
Exactly. Because they don't do anything about it. It's like one less person to look out for. And
yeah, look, I'll be honest. I kind of did appreciate that. Like, I didn't see that coming. I'll be very honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think you can tie it together with this idea of like, because he tries to like fully just masculinely attack the T-Rex, and that kind of just basically backfires in some way. And I did read that in the way of like, oh, this idea of like this physical strength higher, that is not what makes man or like whatever, like, that's not what saves him from the past. I think you could read that into it, but I also think I'm just being charitable to the film.
Yeah, I, on the other hand, just read that as a pathetic guy being stupid and thinking he could knock a T-Rex out with a hammer.
Yeah. And he did it, and I was like, damn, that was impressive. And then it just stood back up.
And then the
I was like,
T-Rex.
fair.
Also, throughout the whole film, okay, now I want to go into the writing because that's also related to the plot. I felt like screaming at multiple points throughout the film, turn around. Turn the fuck around. How do you not hear a fucking T-Rex catching up on you?
Oh, not just that. I think specifically like the son does so many specifically things which are like, boy, like, come on, that's kind of
Did
dumb.
you not see the dinosaurs eat people's heads off? Why would you run after your dog? Like, listen, I have dogs. I love dogs. Okay? I would do anything to protect my dogs. Okay? First of all, we knew that dog was coming back because this film would have been rated much more adult if the dog had actually died.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor can die. The dog stays.
And second of all, there's dinosaurs out there, buddy boy. And you don't think your whole family is going to... He's not that young. He's 13. And
yeah,
I just think a lot of stupid character mistakes were made in writing these characters.
Yeah, like you can excuse someone from doing something when they're terrified or like, in character. But there does come a point where like, I don't think most people or the vast majority of people would make a decision like that despite the circumstances,
No, agreed. So I was definitely really frustrated by the writing, as I was also frustrated by the acting, specifically Ewan McGregor's, because I just didn't feel like, well, of course, it's down to the script, it's down to the character you're given, and there's only so much an actor themselves can do. But there's this one scene in particular I'm thinking when him and Anne Hathaway are like on the streets looking for their kids because their son fucking run away in the middle of the night. And he just kind of goes, kids in like two barely different tones, and I'm like, okay, I could read this with a lot more grace and be like, this is trying to show how like flimsy this character is in himself as like a character trait, as like continuing with his kind of like patheticness and not being able to do anything. And on the other hand, I could read this as Ewan McGregor just being like, I don't fucking know what to do with this script. Fuck this shit.
I think that is what's true, right? I do think it is a thing of I don't know what to do with the script very much. So I don't think Ewan McGregor is necessarily a bad actor.
I don't think he's a bad actor. I'm just frustrated by the acting that we're seeing that is like pushed forward by the script.
Yeah, I think there's so many plot points which come up and they're kind of never really talked about. Like Ewan McGregor talks about like having this faith in God becomes like a central thing for like a scene or two, and then just kind of disappears. You have Anne Hathaway, like this whole writing thing. She loses her manuscript. You would think that would be something that comes back again, but not really except till the very end.
Ewan McGregor dies, so much character development can come from that. No, he's back at the end.
Yeah, I do feel like it kind of just doesn't really want to commit on one thing and fully like develop one thing. Like another very like charitable reading I was having by watching this.
Yes.
I don't like it. Some part of me is like, hey, it's making me think things. That's a good thing. But also like, so then they were like kind of stuck. And I was like, oh, people who didn't get like kind of time swapped are probably like, oh, thousands of people or like hundreds of people died. And I was like, yeah, but that also just kind of does happen in like the global south almost like too frequently, very sadly.
Yeah.
And then I was like, to some extent, this is then this idea of, but why is this scary? Because it's happening to white people in America.
Exactly.
Where it doesn't happen.
Suburbia is being disrupted. This cannot happen.
Yeah. And that's the point of like suburbia is being disrupted. It's like very specifically happening. And this is like kind of this idea of like white horror exists in that way of like, when you read horror, specifically horror with like surrounded with white people as like their like central characters, it is this idea of like this foreign coming in or like you being in like a foreign place or kind of invasions and things like that. And then I was like, yeah, but this film's not really going to do much with that because it didn't. And then being also like, yeah, but think about that. That could have been such an interesting like place to pick up from and then unravel that like, again, 80s film that it's kind of like paying homage to and deconstruct that. Like I was like, if Jordan Peele was doing this, how would he have done this?
If Ryan Coogler was doing this, how would he have done this?
Exactly. That was my point of like, there's a lot you could genuinely work with. And like if it did none of this, I might have like not been as harsh with it, It feels more disappointing rather than bad.
Exactly. It's like it's not doing anything new. It's not following up on even some of the kind of new things it's introducing. And I just don't know. I just left it kind of like you said, dissatisfied and disappointed.
Yeah.
Which is not to say that, I hated everything. There were quite a few scenes that were genuinely like cool to watch or funny.
I think some
even.
scenes were also very tense as well. Like,
yeah. I'm thinking about like the snake dinosaur in the house scene. That was really fucking tense.
Yeah.
When the dad had just died and I thought like someone else was going to die as well.
Yeah, I think that was really good. I enjoyed like the designs a lot of this dinosaurs as well. I think that those were really good.
The dino sex scene was genuinely funny.
I agree.
Yeah. Who knows if the historical accuracy, whether dinos did have sex that way is real or not, but you know what? It was funny in the moment.
Yeah, I do 100% think this film is taking very liberal, like...
with dinosaur anatomy.
Yeah, and the dinosaurs that existed in that time and things like that.
Our resident dinosaur expert friend did mention to me that like dinosaurs who look like that did not exist at the same time together.
Yeah, but I do appreciate feathers. I do appreciate dinosaurs with feathers. That was fun. That was
a huge predator carnivorous dodo bird was kind of fun to see.
Yeah. So I think like, again, when it's doing a lot of that, it's doing it well. But then it's also doing things like the split diopter shots where like two faces are in focus simultaneously. And it just felt like you're doing it for like, firstly, a very basic conversation, which I'm not getting much more from. Like it's like adding like truffles to a very basic pasta. And I'm like, this is not why you use this.
Exactly. Also, diopter shots arguably are never best used in a scene where you're, first of all, indoors. And second of all, when there's only 4 people where you can do 2 versions or maybe let's say 4 versions of diopter shots. No, diopter shots are meant for when there is more going on in the scene, more going on in the setting, more going on in the mise-en-scène, and you want to place the focus on these 2 at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you're just saying something and the other character is just listening to something. I don't understand why this is just not like reverse shot or like, you know, from the...
over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder. Yeah, why is it over the shoulder?
No, I've read loads of people praising, being like, fucking bring back diopter shots. I'm like, yes, bring them back. Not like this.
Yeah, it's a cool shot. I agree with you. But you're not giving me any extra story details. This is not contributing in any necessary way.
Exactly, yeah. So again, with the cool things, there's no payoff. There's no commitment to keeping them cool.
Yeah, I agree. Also, like we mentioned at the start, this is scored by Michael Giacchino. And I think, again, like a composer who is almost in everything.
Yes.
These days. Like very much joining the ranks of people like Ludwig Göransson, Hans Zimmer. But also like this also doesn't feel like anything
special.
Groundbreaking. Yeah, it generally doesn't. It does feel like it's mimicking a lot of the older, like again, Steven Spielberg, John Williams stuff. But it's also used a lot. And it kind of does feel repetitive, and it doesn't give me anything specific that I can like dissect in any way.
It was a little bit too close to the Jurassic Park music for me.
Yeah, like I said, it's like mimicking that John Williams.
Exactly.
Nature.
Instead of adapting or adding on, it did feel like a mimic.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I come back to the thing of like, I genuinely think there's a better movie here. It wasn't the movie I saw.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Oh, what can I say? I enjoyed the boba I drank while I watched it.
I think I enjoyed it. Like overall, like I do think that I, for most part of this film, was like along for the ride.
Same.
Like I was critiquing it in my head while watching it, like thinking about things, but I wasn't like disengaged with it. I wasn't thinking this is boring. I wasn't thinking like this is.
I never once thought about walking out.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was also like, I was thinking I could definitely put this on with my like family, and this would be an easy like 90 minutes on Netflix.
I could show it to my cousins.
It's great that it's also 90 minutes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like one of those films where you just watch it as a family. You watch it, you forget about it. It was cool.
You have popcorn, you have nachos, you have drinks. It's like a yeah.
It's a good summer flick. Like it's a very like casual summer movie, and it works perfectly fine at that. again, it's just the fact that it puts little things in there, which I'm like, you could do something with it, and then it
Yeah.
doesn't, and I'm like,
Even as the summer flick, like I suspend my disbelief with rom-coms all the time. So I'm fully
Yeah.
prepared to suspend my disbelief for any kinds of films, right? Especially like summer blockbusters and stuff like that. It's just make me feel it was worthwhile to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah, that, and also like, don't queerbait me, don't sapphic bait me, you know? That's mean.
Yeah. And especially with like, I don't know, it was like it was there, but it wasn't there, it was there, but it wasn't there. And then it was really there when you kind of see them holding hands. But it's like, are they holding hands in the friends way, or are they holding hands in like the lesbian way?
It was kind of just...
I thought in the year of our good luck 2026, we were beyond queer baiting, even in period film.
Nope.
No.
How dare you? It truly is a callback.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams, do better with your gay fans.
Oh, I'm sure he's not heard that criticism the first. But yeah, those are our thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. This podcast is produced solely by us with musical assets from Pixabay. If you enjoyed this, please do share. See you again next time.
Bye-bye.